Ow! Oh man, that hurts. You ever had a molar pulled? I just had the second one pulled last week, and guess what? Didn't cost me a dime. Well, it cost me money. I did a trade with a local dentist who I've been working with for like 12 plus years. So, welcome everybody. Rob here from NoBS Photo Success. First topic of today's TV show, talk about doing deals in contra with your photographic services. What a better way to, take advantage of others who have a desire to want to use your photography, and they have something that you desire, and you can make a nice trade. So, talked about this before in previous episodes, but I just want to bring it up again because my tooth is still sore, and 2 molars gone. It's not cheap. Anyways, so onwards. Let me talk about fairies. I want to show you something here. Check it out. See that little postcard? Yeah. We have our, every 6 months in our studio, we do a fairy day. So I make these up. I get about 100 of them made up at Costco because they're like really cheap. And high gloss. So all I did was I designed it myself. You see, nothing fancy. And it talks about fairy day. I got to put my eyes on here, guys. So Saturday, May 19th is fairy day. $97. We increased our price. 1 8x10 or 2 5x7, one pose. So we increased the price of the fairy day because my wife told me to. Anyways, so I brought these to the local gymnastics club where there are like 1 million little girls running around. Brought them to a dance school. Heck, even yesterday I was at the post office picking something up, and while I was there I brought in a little stack. So I have a stack with me in the car, and I brought a few into the post office, and I asked the lady there, I said, do you have any little girls? And she said, no, they're all grown up. I said, but she knows somebody who does. So she took a few. And, so wherever I go, I'm always bringing these with me. I have a stack in my car, as well as handing them out, as well as emailing our clients, our subscription, our studio newsletter. I've emailed them, social media. So we're promoting this 101 different ways. And that's what's really important to recognize is when you have a sale on or a special or promotion, don't just try and find one way to promote it. Try and find 101 ways to get one client. That's called diversity. That's called not putting all your eggs into one basket. So anyways, it's working out. We're booking it out, and it's always a great success for us. So my wife as well, this is the honest to goodness truth. Honest to goodness, she spent an hour and a half this morning going through our client files, looking for names of clients that we know have little girls. And she phoned them. She gets on the phone and she phones them. And she says, hey, Lisa, Tina here from Westmount Photography. Just want to let you know we have Fairy Day and you might be interested. So, you can't sit back and just send out one email and expect to have success. You have to work at it over and over and over again. So I was talking to a photographer that I was consulting recently when she was saying that she sent out a promotion, she sent out one email, and it was a bit of a bomb. I'm like, well, you can't just send one. But she says, I'm afraid to piss people off. No. Listen, if you're not pissing somebody off every day, you're not doing much of anything. So, you're going to annoy some people. And what you want to do is not try and be all things to everybody. That's called death by committee. So it's important to recognize that. So when you're sending out emails, make your emails interesting so most of the people will enjoy them. Okay? Have an offer that's exciting. And don't be afraid to send them out every 3 days. Just do it, man. Don't worry about it. All right, onwards. I want to talk about the ditto cams that we've been doing with Photography Schoolhouse. Kind of give you a little bit of an update. James shot one last week called the Shooting the Preteen. It was amazing. A little long. James can get a little wordy. Yabbity yap bap bap bap. 2 hours. 2 hours and a bit. Do you know how much? Anybody here? Yeah, we have 2 hours and a bit. I just shot one a few days ago called Shooting the Family 2012. The reason we called it 2012 was because we shot a family one last year and a couple of years before that. And in spite of the fact that it's the same topic, families are such a broad, all-encompassing topic, it's well worth watching each one. If you're a member of the forum, they're in there as videos that you can watch. Now this one was really cool because we went on location. We did some really hip and cool stuff. We did some off-camera flash. We did some post-apocalyptic look, you know, old abandoned walls and buildings. Check it out. Anyways, it's in the forum. We got more good stuff coming along your way with Photography Schoolhouse. Checking my notes here. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about my wedding I shot last Saturday. I'm going to call this segment "Never Let Them See You Sweat." Okay, I was working on a video, and I'm going to show you that video right now. Check it out.
Nice. Beautiful.
It's doing it again. Give me a second, Maria.
Yeah.
It's doing it again.
You want my coat to push it in with?
And it's back. I knew it would come back. And I knew it would go away. Can you turn your head to your right? A little more. A little more. Right. Good. Look down. Look nice. Let me do one with my long lens. There, you're doing it. Put your hand up again.
Fun?
Yeah. Hold your waist, or yeah, hand in the pocket. Good. That's nice. Relax that shoulder. Good. Beautiful. The lake right now is just, if I crop in really close, it's just this wall of whiteness. Beautiful. One last one. Maria, step your left. Your right. I'm sorry. Your right.
Good.
And Kyle, come to your right. Now use your other hand on your cheek. That way we get the right in.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's bring that hand down. I want to see that wedding ring. Good. Nice. There you go. Good. Beautiful. All right. Now, you'll see where the flash wasn't working. Okay? You hear a beep. That's because the flash wasn't working. I'm at a wedding, I'm tight for time, you know, I got to get the bride and groom back to the reception hall. And the fact that flash wasn't working does not throw me. You know, I've been at this a long time. It takes a lot more than that to really get me excited and to get me into a bit of a tizzy when it comes to shooting weddings. When you're shooting a wedding, a large part of your presence, besides the fact that you're bringing your skills, your talent, your ability to direct people. In many ways, you're like a Steven Spielberg. You're a director. You've got to be nice to everybody, but you got to get people moving, man. You got to get things happening. You got to be aware of the schedule. You got to be aware of what it is that this couple, this bridal party. There's so many different components that comes to you if you hone your skills year after year after year. You do not want to get into a rut with this, guys. Trust me, you do not want to get into a rut. So, anyways, I'm shooting this wedding. Had the bride and groom out after they had just finished their supper, and the rest of the people at the hall were still being served their main course. And I went up to them, I said, you guys want to come outside for a few minutes for a few extra shots? The light is beautiful. So the flash wasn't working, but I just like, well, whatever. I kept acting like as if nothing was unusual. So I shot some images without the flash. So what? If I really, really had to get the flash working at that time, which I really didn't have to, I would have found a way to, because it was working intermittently. It's just this old Alien B flash that I have that is really, honestly, ready for the boneyard. So, all right, I want to talk about tripods. A little bit of tech talk for you. Let's talk about tripods. The reason I want to talk about tripods is because I just wrote an article for Shoot Smarter, where I contribute every month an article to, and this month was titled, When should you use a tripod? Sounds pretty simple, but you know, when you think about it, if you're just starting out in photography, or even if you've been at it a long, long time, like I and many of you guys have been, I still like to know what others are up to and their reasons behind the techniques that they're using. So, and a tripod is such an essential tool. Now, back in the day, I'm talking back in the 80s and 90s, film days when I was shooting with a Mamiya or a Hasselblad. You remember those cameras? They weighed 80 pounds. I used to have what was called a Bembo. This is a Bembo here. This is a mini Bembo. The one I had was a full-size Bembo. It was about 5 times the size, weighed about 10 times, and I had a ball head on it. This is a ball head right here. See? It's like in the shape of a ball. It spins around. Boom. I had a ball head that was made for a 4x5 camera, and the reason I bought that and used that was because it was very, very sturdy, very heavy, very rugged. It did not move, and the base plate on it was ginormous. But I wanted that because I really wanted stability. And my opinion was at the time, if you're not shooting with a tripod, you're not a true professional. I just really believed in tripods. Then digital came along, DSLR, light, fast, and easy, and all of a sudden all this creativity came to me, and I started shooting way, way less. As a matter of fact, to the point where I rarely use the tripod, and I don't really use a tripod a lot that much anymore. The only time I use a tripod nowadays is when I'm shooting a family, usually later in the day, and I'm often with the 70-200, so I really need a lot of stability. Okay, because a family shot has got to be really tack sharp. It's got to be very controlled in many ways, and the lighting usually later in the day, it's that sweet light, the magic hour. When the sun is setting, you get that nice warm light. You don't have a lot of time. You got maybe 20 minutes, and you're getting down to about a 1/15 of a second. So they'll use a tripod then. I could crank the ISO, but I don't want to, not with a family. I really want to get as much quality in those images as I can, because a lot of times they're going to canvas prints. Big equals ka-ching sales, right? So anyways, this is the tripod I use now. It's called a Manfrotto. So I bought it a couple of years ago. I think I had one prior to that before I got away from the Bembo, and I lost it. I don't know, I think I lost it. I can't remember. I think I left it at a wedding somewhere I was shooting. This is called the 055X PROB, I think. That's what it says here. And it's just got these snap-on things here that kind of open and release the legs. But the ball head is really what's cool. It's kind of a pistol grip. So this has got a little bit of a release on it, and it spins around. So I've got the camera on there, and I can spin the 70-200. It's got a movable collar to go for vertical shots. So that's what I'm using. That's the time that I use a tripod during families. I also use it as well if I'm shooting detail shots in the wedding. I'm often trying to get the ISO down again, and I want to drag the shutter in order to pull in the ambient light to create that kind of the aura, the light that's happening, the lighting that's happening during the actual wedding. So also, the other time I use a tripod, which is not that often, but when I do multiple exposures, high dynamic range, 9 images, 1 average, 4 over, 4 under, incrementally by 1 stop. Okay, so you get these 9 images, 9 exposures, covers a full range of detail within an image. Each exposure, each image has to be exactly identical from one to the next, because you use this program called Photomatix. Adobe does it, Photoshop has it as well. Apparently it's not as good, but I use Photomatix, which combines all 9 images into one beautiful full tonal range image. But you need a tripod. Oh, by the way, there's an electronic, you can see it, here's it's invisible. It's my invisible electronic cable release. I use those as well on my camera, my Nikon D700, soon to be an 800. Anyways, I bought the electronic cable release for extra stability. Gets my hands off the camera so I can fire it remotely. Let me show you another tripod. Well, I showed you the Bembo. Okay? I bought this head for the Bembo. This is called a video head. So this junior Bembo, this mini Bembo, is now been relegated to video. When I shoot weddings, I do a little bit of fusion, a little bit of video on my weddings, and I use that tripod, because you need this kind of army thing here, right? It's an armish, arm-like, so that you can pan, the fact that it's far away, you can pan up, down. One more tripod. I did a boo-boo one. I bring this with me when I travel. There's many variations on little mini tripods, but it's cool, kind of cool to have one. You know, I put my G12 on there, and away you go. So it's important to have one of these when you're traveling. All right, what else we got? I think I'm done. No. Inferno, infernoworkshop.com. We just had a really, really big, awesome, amazing Inferno workshop in Toronto. Some awesome speakers. It was absolutely astounding. Everybody loved it. I loved it. Everybody that was there came up to me, loved it. Absolutely no negative feedback whatsoever. Brian DeMint was a big hit. Everybody was a big hit. All the speakers were amazing, but in particular were Brian DeMint from Missouri. He's absolutely an amazing photographer and funny as can be. So we're going to have him back in Nashville, November 4, 5, and 6, 2012. What year are we? We're in 2012. And so we got Brian. The reason we have Brian coming back is because the same people that went to Toronto are probably not going to go to Nashville. So we have, get to recycle some of the speakers. Plus he offered, and he's just an amazing speaker. And even if you saw him, come and see him again. He's good. That's one thing I used to love to do. And back in the 80s when I really tapped into seminars and workshops, that's where it all started for me. If I had a favorite speaker, presenter, I'd go see him again and again and again. It's just like some of my favorite marketing guys. I listen to their CDs over and over and over and over again. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a good thing. All right, I'm out of here soon. Let me check my notes. Oh, you see my notes? My notes say notes. I just want to talk about notes. So I have my little whiteboard, which in effect is a notepad. But this is one final thought I want to leave with you. I tore this from my note thingy. I guess call it a notepad, notebook that I have in my car. I have several of these. One is full, and the other one is sort of newish, and that's where I got this from. So I write down notes on there. I think it's really important that y'all do this if you're not doing it already. Get yourself a notepad. Put one in your car, bring one in if you're carrying a purse around, your pockets, have a notepad handy because you will get ideas and you can write them down and remember. Otherwise, if you're at all like me, you will forget. So you got to write notes down. Now, what happens when you write notes down is it kind of like plants these seeds into fertile soil, and then other ideas will stem forth. You just trust me on this. Try it. And you'll get other ideas that'll come to you. If you don't write it down, it's gone. Okay? You ever get a great idea and you're like, oh, I'll remember that. And you go to remember it the next day and like, what the hell was that idea? And it's just gone. So write it down. I'm a big, 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 big believer in that. I have index cards in my office for the same purpose. I have notes in the bathroom for other purposes. But more specifically, I get a lot of ideas in the car. Write them down when I'm thinking about what I'm going to talk about on these presentations, when I'm coming up with a marketing struggle for my studio, or whatever. It's called a creative technique, a creative tactic for getting ideas. So try it. You'll see what I mean. So anyways, thanks guys. I'm going to tune out now. James was not here this week, because he's really, really busy. So I thought I'd just go ahead and shoot this TV episode without him. So you're stuck with me, and I hope you had a good time. I'll see you guys later. See you at the Inferno, infernoworkshop.com, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.